bothers me that there are no good male role models sort of like dominating the common discourse. Closest we can get to something like that is probably Joe Rogan. But like the other men that are sort of like held up as exemplars of masculinity. Oh, we got Jordan Peterson. Okay. Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate. Okay. Uh, Drawing a blank. I'm sure there are some actors that people like. Henry Cavill. I'll pay Henry Cavill. He seems like a good guy. Um, the point is that we're sort of struggling a bit at the moment, a bit deprived of like the really epically awesome male role models. So if we sort of lack those at the moment, we can always just turn our attention backwards because there are people of other generations that we can look to. If we want to roll back a few decades, or 100 years, we can get all sorts of like the classic masculine archetypes. Thinking like a Sean Connery type, this the gentleman who came from the slums sort of sort of guy, like really smooth, really cool, really charismatic, and yeah, a bunch of the classic actors from his age. But like, why stop there? Let's rewind time even further. I mean, there's Jesus, of course. Follow Jesus. Do what Jesus would do. Excellent advice. Hopefully, you've heard that before. Hopefully, you're doing your best to do it. So let me put forward another candidate, David, because I'm currently working my way through the Bible for a second time, and I'm at the point where we've got yeah, King David's story. So like First Samuel, Second Samuel, especially, and there's a lot there. There's a lot there to appreciate because, like, what's King David famous for? Well, he killed Goliath. Excellent. Uh, good job. I'm glad he's famous for that. He's also famous for let's say what he did towards the end, where he wanted some other guy's wife, and so he arranged for bad things to happen to the dude, and then he took the wife. Yeah, uh, there's only one perfect male role model, and you can guess who I would say that is. But with David, there's a lot to learn from. There's a lot to follow. As flawed as he is, as limited as he is, at least it shows that as flawed and as limited we are, we can still aspire to something quite like becoming this epic king or one of the holiest men who ever lived. There's got to be at least some comfort to that. And chances are your mistakes are going to be smaller than David's. So there's some consolation for you. But let's like really break down his story. And I'm not going to cover every detail, uh, but there are some just lovely highlights in there. For one thing, he starts off and he's a shepherd. He's one of a bunch of brothers, seven-ish brothers, something like that. And he's tending to the field, he's tending to the animals. Uh, that right there is not nothing. Having something to protect is vitally important. If you don't have something to protect, your ability to function as a man is stifled. Like masculinity rises. Like this is why so many men fantasize about like saving people. There's some sort of crisis or like a natural disaster, or a crazy person breaks in wielding a weapon, and like they fantasize about just like, they just see red. They're like the dog in them comes out, and they save the day. They act on instinct, and like they reach this power and this potential that they never knew that they had. And it's a great fantasy. I do that all the time. Most men do. because that's what we yearn for. We yearn to be seen as protectors and to like legitimately be protectors. It'd be very hollow to be seen as like to get the credit for protecting people when you didn't actually do anything. So like a very humble job, like being a shepherd or tending to farm animals, like it's already moving in the right direction. And like I've heard some people try to mock the Bible by saying it's like fairy tales written by shepherds. Have you met a shepherd? These people are chads. These are some of the most epic people ever. And of course they are. Like, especially back then. Because imagine trying to corral 100 mammals, but they don't speak English. They won't recognize your authority just because you have the title of shepherd. Like, you have to lead them like very much through your essence, through your feel, through instinct, through example. Like it's you can't just bark orders, and you can't threaten, you can't bribe, and yet you got 100 of these like moronic, like these creatures doing their best to get into trouble. Like, oh, I've fallen in a ditch. Oh, I tried to sniff a wolf and it bit my face. Like, like, like sheep is stupid, but like not in the stupid sort of way that means that like your intellectual superiority is going to serve you at all. Like you, they're just going to do their own thing. And yeah, to put yourself between like your livestock and bandits coming to steal them or wolves coming to eat them, like that's like it's the biggest compliment you could give to say that that shepherds came up with these stories, second only to this the word of God, and so it's true, beautiful, and good. Really weird attempt at an insult. But anyway, so that's David's starting point, and it's a pretty good starting point. Then he's like, okay, I need to protect more than sheep. I need to protect my people because the Philistines are causing all sorts of issues. Goliath is intimidating everyone. He's winning fights just by showing up, and no one wants to fight him. David's, or well, someone has to step up here. I might as well do it. Puts his trust in God, puts his trust in himself. I really like the detail that David's given this heavy armor, and he just gets rid of it. He's all, I'm not used to this armor. It feels clunky. I feel slow in it. So I'm just going to get rid of it. It shows a real trust in his own abilities. I'm not sure that many of us would be brave enough to stand in front of Goliath at all, but to stand in front of him with nothing but like a cloth tunic, that's pretty awesome stuff. So protecting sheep, protecting his people, doing what he needs to do. Bunch of stuff happens. There's a nice element there of brotherhood with Jonathan. So he and Jonathan form this bond that is just this beautiful brotherhood. And I've talked about that before, so I won't go into it here. But being the sort of guy who can cultivate that sort of thing and to actually find it in your life, that too will draw out much more of your masculine power, your masculine instincts. David's doing really well as a warrior. Saul gets nervous, Saul gets jealous, blah blah blah. Fast forward a little bit, and David is leading a bunch of ragtag ne'er-do-wells out in the wilderness, doing whatever he can to stay out of trouble and to provide for his people and just stay alive. He has a couple of opportunities to kill Saul, which would be justified by any logic. It's self-defense. Like, Saul is trying to kill him. And by all measures, Saul is a bad king, so someone should probably do the job. But David, being the gentleman, being this humble follower of God, says, well, no, Saul is the rightful king. I can't assume that it's my place to remove from the throne what God has put on the throne, which you might say is a strategic nightmare. It's a tactical blunder. That's incredibly wise. Uh, and even if that was a mistake, if that's how he approaches everything, then like his men will follow him anywhere. Like if that's the sort of leader that he is, people will understand that he's built different. So whether that's a mistake or not, the fact that he thinks in that sort of way is an incredible asset. You could say it's through luck or through the will of God, or I like to think it's because of just his presence and his leadership. He wins the love of Abigail. Now, again, you could argue that he just got lucky. Like Abigail's husband was going to like cause all these troubles, and so Abigail defies her husband. She steals from him in order to give David what is properly owed to him. And a bunch of stuff happens. Fast forward, and he takes Abigail as his wife. And again, you could say that it's like, well, like she would have done that for any leader. Like in the context, it was more about what her husband at the time did than what David did. But like true masculinity has a way of manifesting and attracting like really great women. And the Bible makes it clear that Abigail's, like, apart from being beautiful and apart from her actions being very wise and compassionate, and it's like very, like, she strikes me as feminine and generally sort of like willing to follow the lead of her husband. But she recognized in this moment that her husband was being an idiot, was risking calamity for no real reason. So she still had the strength of character to defy her husband when she had to, which makes her way more impressive than any girl boss I've seen on the screen. Like, feminists should love the Bible. Some of these stories are incredible. And and so David lives this life where he's just sort of like moving from one thing to the other, guided by this need to protect, guided by this need to serve, following the will of God. And things just happen. And he goes from being this humble shepherd to being the king of God's kingdom on earth. And yeah, he makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, the frustrating thing is like at the end of the story with Abigail, it's like, yeah, he marries Abigail. It's like, awesome, good on you. And he also marries someone else at the same time. It's like, oh, come on. Right back to the start of Genesis. It's like one man, one woman coming together. Like that's like, and then he goes on and does worse stuff still. But again, you could take David as this really nice exemplar of what it means to be a man. Like, do your best to avoid his mistakes, but he has this life progression where it starts off very small, starts off very humble, and he learns lessons, he takes risks, he does what's right again and again and again, and ultimately, like, out of that becomes this incredible bloodline through which God is able to manifest himself in the world through Jesus. Like that to me says that God is telling us to look here and to learn. Like, don't repeat his mistakes, but by all means, repeat his virtues. Do what he did right. It's, if you can't find a good exemplar from the modern world, well, you could do worse than King David. All right, get out of here. Peace be with you.